Hey everyone, okay, so today we're going to be doing a very lifted eye, and for this look we're only going to be focusing on the outside corner of the eye. We're not going to connect it underneath for this tutorial, so let's just make a start. Okay, so what I like to do, and I tend to just always favor this kind of method, is I like to use a guideline. Now this is a shadow shaper and it was from Alexis Vogel, and it's just a little piece of felt. Tissue works just as well. I just like it very much because it was hers. And when you do this kind of technique, you place it at the outside corner of the brow, and for this technique you want to place it so that it just touches the upper part of the lower lash line, because that's the only area we're focusing on. And again, you don't want to hold this with such intensity that you pull or distort the eye in any way, because you want this blend to be smooth. So don't do this and then place it, just take your eye naturally and place it down. Now this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a wash of a color and see where it takes us. It's going to be quite a relatively subtle look for me. So I'm going to go in with my number 4 brush, and I'm going to use enough product that it's visible on the skin. And what we're going to do is place this at the outside corner and very gently touch, and I'm going to start on my eyelid. Now I always want to start on the eyelid because then that's where the most amount of color is going to happen, and then I take it just up into the crease very, very lightly to begin with, because oftentimes what will happen is you will start on the crease of the eye with a transition shade, which technically this is, but there'll be too much pigment there and it becomes too harsh. So when you do pull this stencil away at the end, it looks very, very hard, and we don't really want that. We want this to be a relatively soft look. So again, focusing on the eyelid first, and really make sure that you get this outer corner. So even if you've got to lift your eyebrow, make sure that you get that outer corner. And then I'm just going lightly into the crease, and as I follow it round to this outside corner, you just want to make a straight line. So imagine you're just following it down. So just back and forward, and I'm following it down. And then just take the shield away, or your tissue, and you'll be left with a really pretty lifted eye at this outside corner. Now we're going to take a smaller brush, and we're just going to dip that into a slightly deeper shade. I'm using my palette, and I'm just going to place the stencil back, except this time I'm just going to focus on this outside corner in a kind of V shape right here. But I really just want to focus on that very outside edge. And we just want to darken it ever so slightly. And just make sure you're pulling down here at this outside corner, and then it just makes a very subtle lift here. And I also want to kind of point out, my camera is not angled at a particularly flattering angle, so that the cameras oftentimes will be placed quite high up, so you're actually looking up, giving the illusion that you've got more lid space. I'm filming this face on, so it's a more realistic approach, and I'll zoom out a little bit later. So you've just got that very darker corner on. Now if you want to lighten anything, you can take a little wash of a soft shadow and just very lightly touch on the brow bone if you want to do that. And of course you can just touch upon this inner corner just to lighten it a fraction. And I'm going to take a tiny touch of this celestial shade, and I'm just going to pat that right on this inner corner. And it just gives a really pretty kind of look to the eye. And it's just pretty, but I'm not going to drag that all the way across the eye. So what we want to do at this point is, you can take your brush that you used to begin with, make sure it's clean, and if you want to, you can just place your shadow shield back, or your shadow chamois, and just very lightly in circular motions, just take away any hard edges without any real pressure. And if you find that you've got a little bit of a tail that you don't want, you can just blend that away. So now what we need to do is get on lashes, and then you can actually see that it creates this really pretty kind of lift to the eye. Okay, so I've applied lashes, long lashes, and you get this lift with this because the way this lash is done is that I've layered the lashes out on the outside corner here, double stacked, and then I've gone in and feathered them out. And that follows this curvature of this light going into this dark. And I've stopped just shy of my last lashes so that this part of it visually lifts the eye, which is what we want. We want to visually lift this portion of the eye. This section here, we want it to pull up and out. And it's just a really pretty way of doing it. And you get that drama and you get the lift because we use this to lift this portion of the eye. And I just think it's such a pretty look. You don't have to connect underneath. You don't have to do anything else. And you get this really pretty ombre effect of going from this light color into this medium and then into the deepest color of that outside corner. And it all blends and gets pulled together with the lashes or mascara, however you want to do it. But I just think it's a really cool way of doing eyeshadow. And using a guide, it's just such an easy way of doing it. And with hooded eyes, this is an even greater way because you could do the lashes first and you've really got a guideline then, and then you can just go in with your eye open. You can actually see where the shadow needs to be so that it just peeks over the lashes, which is kind of generally what we want, the shadow to just be approaching slightly higher than the actual lashes. There you go. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.